best use of my time is being out in the community, educating people that, there's so many misconceptions about financial advisors. Oh, I don't have any money. I don't need a financial advisor.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Yeah, or I don't have $100,000. No one will work with me. False, false, false. Mm-hmm. If you don't have money, you probably need a financial advisor more than someone, or as much as someone that does.
Right.
Because if you don't have money, then, well, actually, you probably need a coach first.
Okay.
And I do that too.
Right. This episode is brought to you by me. Yes, by me, Victoria Odekomaya. I'm a brand photographer and strategist based locally here in Indiana. And I love helping women, small business owners, and professionals with side hustles build and elevate their brand. So if you're in the market and looking for someone that would thoroughly help you create a beautiful imagery for your brand and help you connect with your target audience, I'm your girl. So why choose me? Because I offer a beautiful, luxurious celebrity photo shoot experience for all of my clients. The celebrity experience includes professional hair and makeup, wardrobe styling. I serve wine and chocolate covered strawberries, and I'm playing your favorite music because it's important to me that you look and feel great to create the images that we know will truly connect with your audience. So what are you waiting for? If you're looking for photography to help you elevate your brand, call on your girl because I got you. Welcome to another episode of the Own Your Brand Show. I'm your host, Victoria Odekomaya, and today I have Brandi Greenleaf Brands today in the studio. I'm very excited because she's my first in-person studio guest, podcast guest. So that's very exciting. And she's also just said that it's her first podcast. So I'm like, yeah, we're celebrating. So
nerves all around.
Yeah. So that's good. She is a financial advisor and coach with the goal of helping you grow financial health. She does this through education as well as practical application. So I really love that too, because it's not just about giving information that's like fluff, but you're really into that practical application.
Absolutely.
I love that you're also a Christian woman. That's really great. I'm also one. So I thank you so much. We can identify that. Yeah. You are also a bonus mom of 3 and a 4-legged love Bailee.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
My children say I love her the most, but it's not true.
That's so cool. So we're planning on being the first of, first podcast and as well as my first in-person guest. That's amazing. Yeah. I'm thinking a little bit about how we met. And it resonates with me so much because I remember going into that. It was at the VIP Center. They had this event. And I remember wanting to learn more about finances, right? At that point, I was getting ready to transition into full-time entrepreneur. And so I knew I needed to be doing some things differently. Yeah. And you came in with so much joy and energy. And you were like there just to pour out into us. And I love that so much. And I think that that's one thing that keeps me remembering you over and over and over again.
Oh, thank you. That was a joyful day for me. That was actually the first time that I had spoke and shared that workshop in that kind of public setting.
It's amazing.
So, that makes my heart happy to know that.
So I wouldn't have guessed that because you were so prepared. You had worksheets for us. You had a homework for us. And I was like, oh, God, I got to do all of this work. So that was really good. So cool. Thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about you. Maybe even talk about your family. I know you have everybody loves talking about their dogs. So I know you just said it's even your kids think that.
Yes, they do. They do. They say that often that I love the dog the most. I had never had a dog and she's a pandemic puppy.
Oh,
so
that's so cool.
So yeah, she is. She's pretty special. But I love my kids too.
Of course. What kind of dog is it?
She's a mutt. Yeah, she's just a mix of Staffordshire Terrier, Beagle, and Lab.
Oh wow!
But everyone tells us how beautiful she is. So I'm a little biased, but when others say it, then I know it must be true.
Yes.
And I have a son who will be 28 in August. September. Oh, wow. A son who will be 15 in August.
Oh, wow.
And I have a daughter who is today officially now a senior in high school.
Yay.
Yes, that feels so surreal. And I've been in their lives for 10 years, so I've truly watched them all grow up, and just very blessed.
That's
blessed
amazing.
to be able to just watch them grow and influence where I can and when I can. And yeah, definitely. My husband and I were together right out of college, and we spent a summer together, and then we went our separate ways, and God brought us back together.
Oh, wow.
Actually, in the Indianapolis airport when I lived in California.
Oh, wow.
A chance encounter that was not a chance at all. It was all God's orchestration. And here we are.
That is amazing. Yeah. Wow. So you guys you were together, and then you just, and just came back together. Mm-hmm. That is incredible.
Yes.
Wow.
So, yes. And when he brought us back together, I wasn't living my life as in my faith as I am now. So I'm so grateful for that blessing.
And that's one of the things that we had talked about before we started this, you are so passionate about sharing your faith. And I love that. So tell us, why is that so important to you?
Oh my gosh. When I look back, I just know, if not for God, I shouldn't be here. The ridiculous, irresponsible things I've done.
We've all done. We've all done.
I thank God every day that there was no social media.
Oh, yeah.
In college. But seriously, always a believer since very young.
Right.
But very rarely living truly in my faith. God used to sit in the back seat or in my back pocket, and when things would get bad, I'd pull him out and say, help!
Yeah.
Right? And then after a spontaneous Easter baptism 9 years ago at Traders Point Christian Church, which is where we go, I started really realizing there's more to life. I suffer from and have suffered from most of my life, depression and anxiety, and I just knew that what I was doing wasn't working. And so why not draw closer and just see what happens? Right. And then really, so February of 21 is when God gave me the God memo that I was going to be a financial advisor.
Wow.
I spent 25 years in nonprofit. I knew I was looking for a change. I knew it was time to make a major change. Wow, I never would have told you this. Wow. I hate math. And I hate spreadsheets. And in my mind, that's what a financial advisor, even though I had a financial advisor, I had two different financial advisors, both women. And I can look back and tell you neither of them really love math. But they love people, right? So I had this misconception about what a financial advisor was. But so that day in February, I was doing my annual review via Zoom with my financial advisor at Raymond James. And she was sharing the good news that she had been promoted to branch manager. And she said, Brandi, I think it was 21. I have 21 financial advisors in my office now that report to me. She said, there's only one other woman, and I'm determined to change that. And Victoria, like that, my belly was on fire. Wow. And I was like, tell me more. And she said, well, are you looking? And I said, yes, but Sarah, I hate math and I hate numbers and I don't want to do your job, but tell me more.
Right.
And so we scheduled a coffee for her to tell me more. And I hung up and I called my bonus mom, who's been mom for 30 years. And I said, Mom, can I be a financial advisor? And she said, absolutely, for a time. She said, and then you'll be on large stages educating people about being better with their money. Ooh, I mean, without a hesitation, she said that to me. And I thought, okay, God, let's do this.
Yeah.
Because I knew in that moment that it was only God that could have given her those words.
Right.
I get choked up.
Oh, no.
to speak into me like that.
Right.
I mean, I literally called her out of the blue, and with no prompting, that was her answer.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I see? I can see that because when you were presenting to us, if had you not said that was your first time, I would never have known. Like, you were so natural. You came in with so much passion and excitement and just ready to give. And I was like, wow.
Girl, it's
and
not me.
Look, and
it's
that
not
resonates
me.
with me. I still remember how you facilitated and just, taught us that day. That stuck with me.
It's not me.
Wow.
It's not.
Wow.
It's not. And you know, it was probably, well, about June when I, or April, I guess, when the kind of interview process had really started. And I don't know if I should tell this or not, but I think it's a funny story. There was this assessment test I had to take about, I guess, kind of would I be a good advisor? And I didn't do very good on it.
Oh.
But what we learned was when they built that test, it was really kind of geared towards men. And again, I wasn't a math major. I hate math.
Yes.
So I didn't do good on that part either. Now I'm good at math.
Right.
Now I've learned, right? I always say that. People are like, wait, you're not good with math? Why should I give you my money?
Right.
No, I've learned.
Right.
It's been 3 years.
Right.
But my point to that is so many roadblocks should have never been moved, but they were.
Right.
And then, you know, there was a oh my gosh, I'm going to take this leap of faith. And I said to my husband, this means cutting my salary in half. Can we do this as a family? You know, what will this mean? Right. And he supported it and said, you do what you need to do. If this is where you think you want to go, then go.
Wow.
He knew I had been unhappy for a little while, and I loved what I did, but it just was time. It was just, I wasn't, the cup wasn't being filled anymore. And so he wanted to see that change for me. So we did it. You know, I made that leap of faith. And if I could tell you, we could spend the next 3 hours together sharing all the times in the last couple of years that God has shown up financially for us with an unexpected check in the mail that didn't make sense, or with an unexpected refund for something, or just crazy unexpected blessings. One just happened just a month ago.
Wow, tell me about that.
It's always just the right amount. And it's so crazy.
And you know when it's just the right amount, it's so God.
It's him every time. So I do love to share my faith because I feel like so many of us, even those of us that are faithful, we still live in the flesh, we still live in fear.
Right.
And so anyone I can share my journey with to say, listen, it's scary. Right. This is scary. It's still scary. Right. It'll be 3 years in August, and there's still days that it's scary. But it's so exciting.
Yes.
And that excitement for what is God going to do next?
Yeah.
Because he's got big plans for me.
Absolutely.
And that outweighs the fear.
Yes.
And so just anyone that can hear me say, just lean into your faith. He will show up every single time. Not always not in your time.
Yep.
In his time. Yes. But when he shows up, man, it's just, I could talk about it all day because I know there's somebody that needs to hear it.
Right.
There's somebody that needs to hear, stop letting your fear rule you.
Ooh, we need to write that down, put it on a t-shirt or cup or something.
Stop letting your fear rule you.
I love that. I love that. Because
you have everything you need.
Right.
You have everything you need. He gives us everything.
Yeah. And there's so much fear out there. There's so much things that are causing us to be fearful. But we have to remember where our help comes from, who we trust in, you know, because all of this is going to go away, you know, but you have to have a solid foundation. So thank you so much for sharing that. Love that so much. So I needed to hear that, and I'm sure somebody else needed to hear that as well. So I wanted to, as you were talking about your journey into being a financial advisor, I have been learning a little bit lately that, you know, even in the role of financial advisors, like you advise, you know, people on how to manage their money, but there's some people on the back end that does all the heavy lifting and the, you know, trading and whatever it is, right? So like, you know, so even if you're not good in math, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, what do you say to that?
Yeah. So here's what I learned when I had that coffee with my manager and then she had me meet a couple other advisors from the office. Here's what I learned. Being a financial advisor over the last 10, 20 years, it's changed. Most financial advisors today, they're not stock pickers. They're not watching the market all day long, ready to react.
Right, okay.
We hire fund managers to do that for us. They watch the market all day. They do the trades as they need to be traded. Good financial advisors today take a way more holistic role with their clients. We're relationship managers. We're building relationships. I love to say, I walk a journey with my clients. You come to me with a lack of knowledge and understanding, or maybe you have knowledge and understanding, but you're looking for more.
Right.
And you say to me, Brandi, here's my situation. What do I do? Where do I go? How do I get there? Right? So we build a map. Here's where you are today.
Right.
Here's where you want to go. What's our journey to get you there?
Right.
And I walk that journey every bit of the way with you. That journey is educating you,
Right.
giving you practical tools and tips and resources,
Love that.
helping you pivot when life comes at you, and it will, an unexpected job loss, a situation with a child, an inheritance you didn't know was coming, a sick parent that you have to care for, right? Life happens.
Right.
So we build this great plan and we build it so that it's constantly changing and evolving with you.
I love that.
So I hire people way smarter than me that love math.
Right.
And that love numbers.
And
that love the
spreadsheets.
market. And
Right.
that love spreadsheets. Now, I do love spreadsheets more than I used to. But my point is, right, I watch the market. Like I always am careful to say, I absolutely know I have to know what's going on in the market every day.
Yes.
But I don't sit and watch ticker symbols all day. That's not the best use of my time. The best
Right.
use of my time is being out in the community, educating people that, there's so many misconceptions about financial advisors. Oh, I don't have any money. I don't need a financial advisor.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Yeah, or I don't have $100,000. No one will work with me. False, false, false. If you don't have money, you probably need a financial advisor more than someone, or as much as someone that does.
Right.
'Cause if you don't have money, then, well, actually, you probably need a coach first.
Okay.
And I do that too.
Right.
So if you're not good with your money, we gotta teach you how to be good with your money.
Absolutely.
So that then we can advise you
on how
when
to
you do
manage
have the
it.
money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because I agree with you, I feel like a lot of people, especially those that think that they don't have a lot of money, that they don't need a financial advisor. Or when you see those ads on TV, or when you meet someone that says, I'm a financial advisor, you're like, yeah, I don't have the money. Like, what do I have that you can help me manage,
Right.
But I like that we need to change that thinking. That's when we really need a financial advisor like you, because you're helping us have a plan for the future. And then that plan, I love the way you said it's changeable, because life happens, right? And we got to change the strategy a little bit so that we can get to where the goals that we have for ourselves.
Exactly.
That's really good.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So speaking of managing money, oh my God, you probably know, like, it's a tough conversation to have.
It's a very tough conversation to
Yeah.
have.
And
It's probably my biggest obstacle.
Right.
We're taught not to talk about our money.
Yeah.
Shh. Talk about your money.
I know. You like, maybe people feel like you're too proud, or like they, get into your bit. Like, it's just something about it that we don't want to, share. But so, and you can touch on this. Like, how do you overcome that obstacle of people, But I think that your personality, I'll answer this one. Your personality makes it easy. You just exude that, that love and joy, and just wanting to educate people that, people will be open to just say, take my money and help me manage.
I wish it was that easy. Wow. I wish. Maybe that's a God memo I'm waiting for.
Right.
God, just tell them to let me take their money.
Right,
Yeah.
and just help me manage
Yeah.
it. Show me the map.
Yeah,
Show me
yeah,
the roadmap,
yeah. So, you know what? So my passion is working with women. I love to work with men as well.
Right.
But my passion is working with women. I was 42 before I got married. I had 2 female financial advisors that poured into me. I want to pay that forward.
Right.
I think the way that I overcome it
Right.
is I try to bring women together in groups, small groups, big groups. My favorite thing to do is I call it a living room conversation. So, hey, Victoria, will you invite 5 or 6 girlfriends over? I'll bring the drinks and the snacks, and let's just sit around and have an honest conversation about money.
Right.
Right? Ask anything. Nothing's off limits.
Right.
There's no judgment. What do you want to know?
Right.
So, but what I say when I get these groups of women together, big or small, we're taught not to talk about money, politics, and religion, right? Those are the 3 off limits.
Right.
Well, people talk too much about politics. I wish they'd stop talking so much about politics. I wish we would talk about religion more in a faith-based narrative.
Right.
Right? Like we just talked, right?
Yes, yes.
Whatever your faith is,
Right.
share it and be proud of it.
Absolutely.
Right? Don't be judgmental in it. And with your money, what if, as women, we stopped being afraid to talk about our struggles with money. Because we know, especially those in faith, we know we're better in community. We know we're meant to be in community.
Right.
So what if in community, we could take the mask off, we could pull the pride aside, and we could sit in a room like we're doing right now, and you could say to me, Brandi, you know what? Actually, let me turn it around. Victoria, I have an Amazon problem.
You know we do. Yes.
And I've been tackling my Amazon problem this year, by the way, and I'm really proud to say I've done really well with it. But my point is...
I'm still working on mine.
I got some good tips for you on that.
Thank you.
But my point is, what if we could just get honest? Right? We don't have to say, I make X dollars a year and I'm X dollars in debt, and we don't have to go into all that. But if we just got vulnerable enough to say, I just need somebody to hold me accountable. Just hold me accountable to this little goal I set for this month.
Right.
My goal last month was no credit card purchases that weren't work related.
That's good.
Just a little goal.
Right. Right.
And I'm proud to say I hit that.
That's great.
Because I have 7 women, thank you. I have 7 women who I lead in a group coaching program, and I know they're going to hold me accountable.
That's good.
I know when we come together, they're going to say, how'd you do on your small goal?
Right.
And if I didn't hit it, because sometimes we don't, then they're going to hold me accountable to tell them why.
Right.
What was so important that you forgot what your wants versus your needs were? And then we're going to talk about it.
Right.
And there's vulnerability in that.
Yes.
There's no condemnation in it.
Right.
But there's honesty and truth and accountability. And so that's what I share with people. Look, let's just talk about it.
Right.
The good and the bad.
The good and the bad.
Because even those with money, let me tell you, those with a lot of money still struggle with being responsible with it and good stewards with it. So we can all learn how to be just a little bit better with what we have. Right. Whether you're a believer or not, whether you say it's God's or not, doesn't matter. Are you being responsible with it? Are you showing your children? Are you leaving a legacy, right? There's so many things to say that no matter what you have, you can always be better.
Right. Ooh, that's a good one. That is so good. So I have to say that I didn't know that, well, I guess I never thought about it, that even people that are very wealthy still struggle with,
They do.
That's, because that helps people like us that don't have very much yet, to say, hey, this is a general struggle, but you're helping us to learn how to overcome that by having the conversation, by educating us on how to manage this, wants versus need and balance it all so that we can be better as we, wow, that's good. All right. So I know that one of the biggest, you love practical tips, so I'm going to go there. And I know a lot of people want to hear that. So as a new business owner, as a new full-time business owner, so I've been doing this for quite a while now, but I'm now full-time.
Right.
There's this whole thing about, okay, how do I manage my money, save for retirement and all of that. I know this is something that a lot of us struggle with, or at least, and then maybe we don't even talk about because we're like, again, we don't talk about money. So tell us as much as you can, some of the things that we should at least look into, options that are available.
Right. So, first of all, congratulations on becoming a full-time entrepreneur. That's a big leap.
It is a big leap.
And I know you left a really good corporate job.
Yes.
So talk about faith.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was God definitely was. It was time for me to move, and everything happened for a reason. And here I am. And it's been God the whole time.
I love it.
So, yeah.
I love it. So the first thing I want to say to you is when you leave that corporate job and you become that full-time entrepreneur, you no longer have that easy way to save for retirement. And let me say, there's easy ways to save for retirement.
Right.
But when I say easy, it's kind of mindless to save money in your 401k, right?
Yeah.
You start a job, they give you the paperwork, you fill it out, the company's going to do 3%. You're going to please do more than 3%, but you're going to do at least 3% to get that match. That's another conversation about how much you should be putting into your retirement. And then that's it. You don't think about it again, right? It comes out of your check every 2 weeks, and once a year you might look to see how it's doing, and there you go. There it is, right? So now you don't have that ease anymore.
Right.
I think there's a misconception that, I don't have a 401k anymore, so I can't save. Okay, wrong. And in fact, because you don't have the 401k and the match, you've got to immediately save. So for entrepreneurs that are looking to go from that side hustle to that full time, when you're building those business plans, I need you to build in your retirement as part of that budget, as part of that cash flow.
Yeah.
Because the longer you wait, the harder it is to add it in.
Ooh, that's a good
So if when you're first starting, one of those line items is your retirement, that's the easiest way, right? To just know it's always going to be there.
Right.
Now, you know what? Maybe in the beginning it's $50 a month.
Right.
Okay. But it's something.
Right.
And compound interest says
Works for you.
the sooner you can do it, the better, right?
Yes.
So when you're first making that transition, or I want to say too, to people who have, maybe they're working a part-time job and doing a part-time hustle, side hustle. If you don't have a 401k, you can always have a traditional IRA or Roth with an outside company, like a Raymond James. Okay. Between those two, this year you could contribute up to $7,000. Now, in your 401k, you can do over $20,000.
Right.
So there's a way bigger window there, but at least you're doing something, right? So goal one should be to at least try to get to that $7,000 in that first year. Once you're starting to really make money and now you're realizing, okay, I have more to put in, let me put more in, okay? Now maybe you're going from an LLC to an actual S Corp or C Corp or whatever you're doing, right? So now there's more options that allow you to do more.
Okay.
If you're 1099'd with if you're being a contractor to other companies, well, now you can do something called a SEP plan.
Okay.
That allows you to now give more. It allows you to give up to a percentage of the income you're bringing in each year. So it's now more than, depending on your income, it's now potentially more than the 7,000.
Right.
Okay, so now there's a step up there. Now things are getting even better and you're a solopreneur and you're just as busy as can be and you're back making six figures. And now what? Well, there's something called a solo 401k.
Okay.
And it's just for one person. Now you're able to make those 401k contributions at that same level.
Wow.
Then you start hiring people. Okay, well, now you've got a couple different options. You can do a simple IRA, which then allows you to start giving back to your employees.
Okay.
Very, very low cost as an employer, very low cost. Or then you get big enough that you start your own 401k. So there's a lot of options along the way. Now, that was a lot of information. It's complicated, but I think what I want you to hear, want anybody listening to hear is plan to keep giving to your retirement.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, I like that so much because I think as a new business owner or someone trying to transition, we're just thinking about building the business, doing other things like we got to do a website, we got to do logos and things like that, but we forget what's going to help us in the future. Right. So what I heard and took away from that is like you have to make it a line item.
Yes.
Make it that important that, okay, from day one, I'm going to be putting money aside and look for financial advisor like Brandi to help you figure out what that looks like. How much should that be? Especially before you do that transition, I think that's when we really need to start that, conversation.
Right. My other thing that I would say to you is just, if at all possible, do not take money out of that corporate 401k that you've built up.
Yeah.
I see so many people not young,
right,
not realize the long-term consequences of doing it. Yeah. I did it when I was young and I didn't know any better.
Right.
I don't think we educate enough on compound interest.
Right?
I mean, just, back in I think I was in my mid-20s when I did that. I love my parents. It just wasn't something they educated me on.
Right.
And I don't, no ill will to that. They didn't know. They didn't tell me don't do that.
Right.
it might have been $10,000 or $15,000 back then. Boy, what would it be 20 years later?
Ooh,
Even if I never would have put another penny in it.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Also look at your options when you do leave that corporate 401k. If you choose to leave it with the company, that's one of your options.
Oh, okay.
So you can leave it with the company. You can roll it out to another entity like a Raymond James or one of the others in the industry.
Right.
Or I guess if you're leaving corporate, then those are really your only two options. Because a third option, if you're going to another corporate job, would be take it with you and roll it into there.
Okay.
I would just tell you, if you leave it with the company, make sure you're staying on top of it. Make sure you're staying on top of it. Now you do have to watch it because certain stipulations within the plans, sometimes they get turned to cash and they come out of being invested. So you gotta just pay better attention to it.
Yeah, I think I have heard, for me, it's like the money was just gonna be there. They're not gonna do anything with it. Or like because I'm with Fidelity and all that, and they're not going to do it. I can't remember, but I'm so glad I have a financial advisor. It's like
I know your financial advisor. She's a wonderful lady. Yes.
Carol. She's also with Raymond James.
Yes.
So yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, I'm telling you, that's definitely one of the best decisions that I have made, And for a long time, I was one of those people that thought that, well, I don't have a lot of money, so what, but it's better. I remember, and again, what you said that I think is so profound is like, the role of the financial advisor in these days is not, stock watching and things like that. It's just helping you plan and for the future. Yes. And for me, it was so important to say, the first questions that we had was, where do you see yourself? How much do you want to make, in so years? And just figuring out a plan to get there, and that for me makes me feel confident that, okay, we have a plan, we're working on something, and things change. Obviously, now that I'm a full-time entrepreneur, there's some changes, but we go back to the plan and we make the changes, and then we kind of keep. So that, I think, is the biggest takeaway for me. Like a financial advisor is not, they're there to really help you figure out what your goal is and how to get to that goal. And you do an amazing job, educating people and helping them, just talk through all of that. I know you have like this Ask Me Anything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So someone shared it actually at a conference that I was at, and I was like, that's so smart. People say all the time, well, I don't know what I would ask, or I don't know what questions to ask, or I don't want to waste your time. I don't have anything, or, it's easy to kind of make excuses for yourself to not take a step forward.
Right.
So I just said, let's just schedule a 20-minute Ask Anything. So there's no pressure. You're not bringing any information to me. You're not, I'm not going to sell you on my services, which, by the way, I never do. I'm not. If you want to work with me, we'll work together. If you don't, then we won't.
Right.
It's pretty simple.
Right.
So the Ask Anything is all about just a 20-minute block time. There's a definite, it's 20 minutes.
Right.
And, or less. I'm giving you my time.
Right.
For you to learn about me. If you want to ask me, about myself and what I specialize in, if you want to give me a scenario and say, what would you do with that, Brandi? Or if you just simply want to just talk money tips. I laughed when I said I got a tip for that, right? I feel like I have just some really good tips and tricks on how to be better with your monthly spending and saving. I teach a bucket system. I hate budgets. Budgets are a bad word in my office, not at Raymond James, but in my specific office. I don't like budgets, but I like plans. And so if you just want to know more about, well, what's a spending plan and what does that look like?
Right.
It's just it's your time. It's 20 minutes.
I love that.
Ask me anything.
Yeah. And I know that you do coaching as well. So that's something that, it's available for anyone that is interested out there too. I love that approach because sometimes we just have questions and we're like, we don't want to talk about money, right? And then maybe we'll start with like a, random question, and then we start digging into the real questions.
Right, exactly. That first
So,
question usually
right.
opens the box.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I
yes.
know you walked us through the buckets too at that workshop, which is really, really good. Got me thinking about a lot of things. So thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
I love it.
Me too.
This
I
went
love
fast.
it. Yes. We can go talking
Right.
because it was really enjoyable. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for saying yes. It's your first podcast.
Thank you for asking. I love this. This was so wonderful. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope you've learned a lot about this. I think one of my biggest takeaway, like I said earlier, is that financial advisor is for everyone, no matter how much money you have. And take advantage of the Ask Me Anything with Brandi. It's 20 minutes. She's giving it away to just you ask her anything, literally. And if you want to just ask her about herself, by all means, or the things that she loves, look, just take advantage of it. Like, you never know where that conversation would trigger for you. And that's important because it's really about helping us to manage our finances and being a good steward of what we've been given. So I hope you've learned something. I'll put all the links and everything, you know how that already goes, in the comments below, so you can reach out to Brandi and learn a little bit more about our programs, our coaching, and all of that. But until next time, make sure you do everything to own your brand and build your influence. Thank you.